Hello, welcome to Tech Teardown. My name is Steve, and today we're going to talk about the RTX 2060, which comes out today, January 15th, at the price of $350. Now, we're going to do two build guides today to try and find out if we can get that card in your budget. So stick around and see what we can get. Alright, so this is our RTX 2060. I think it has a pretty nice design. It has a two-fan design, and if you look over here, it does have a decent backplate. Now, I do know that this is going to need a 500 watt power supply. It does say that it is going to take about 160 watts from the wall, and then we have about 88 degrees is the thermals that we're looking at. So we're going to want a decent case to try and manage those thermals. So the first case that I picked out was this Mevo Smart Micro ATX Tower Computer Gaming PC. Comes in at about $36 on Amazon. It does have a nice mesh front with two fans, but does not have a fan in the back, so we are going to need to pick one up. And then, if you look over here, it fits about a 13-inch card, so the RTX 2060 is definitely going to fit in this case. And then we do know that it has some fan support at the top. So I do like this. I think we can manage the thermals pretty well in this case. And then over here at Micro Center, I found the cheapest motherboard. It is a Micro ATX motherboard, so we do know it is going to fit in that Micro ATX case. And this comes in at $60, and it's an AM4 motherboard, the B450M HDV. Now, this is a budget build, so I did cut a lot of corners, so we probably won't want to overclock on this motherboard because the heatsink on this thing doesn't look so great. Now, with that motherboard, I did go with the Ryzen 5 1600. It has 6 cores and 12 threads, so it's going to be pretty good in gaming. Now, this is a budget build, and I know you can get like a 2200G for around $80-$90 right now, but you don't want to do that because it does cut the PCI Express lanes in half, which will bottleneck that 2060. So this is about the lowest you want to go on a CPU. And I did go with AMD because they fit in a lot of budgets. So I think you're going to like this. And if you're anywhere near a Micro Center, they have an open box for only $95. So that could even save you more money if you're willing to go open box. Alright, so the next step is on Newegg. I did find on ASRock for that motherboard, I did find a G-Skill stick that fits in our budget on their QVL. So on G-Skill, I did find that stick, those two sticks, 16 gigabytes for $100. So that's pretty good right there. It does have 2400 speed, but that's not too bad. Now we're going back to the Micro Center cart, and I did find a Western Digital Blue mainstream 1 terabyte 7200 RPM 3.5-inch hard drive for your games, so that's not going to be a bad hard drive for you. And then, so we are cutting a lot of corners, but this does have 80 plus certification. It is a 500 watt power supply, but it is not modular. So if this is going to be ketchup and mustard cables in your case, but if you're trying to cut corners and try to stay in a budget, this is not a bad power supply to go with. Just know it's not going to look all too great. And this power supply comes in at $35, and it's 500 watts, which is what we need for that card. So, but not going to allow a lot of headroom for some overclocking. All right. And then, because you can't let anyone build a computer without an SSD anymore, I did go with the Inland Professional 120 gigabyte SSD for only $20. So that's going to be a great boot drive for us. It is definitely, I have one of these in my current build, and I do like it. All right. And then the last thing in my cart in Amazon is I did add some fans. We got a 3-pack of fans, Thermaltake Ring 12s, and high static pressure circular ring white LED case fans. only $36 for the 3-pack. So that's going to be a great, we got 2 on the front and then 1 in the back, and then the case comes with 2 in the front. So we're going to be good with this. So this is our $800 build. It actually comes in around $815 if you include those fans. And I think that's a pretty good price point for this build, but like I said, you're not going to be doing any overclocking. So, but if you're not into that, this is a pretty good PC. You're going to be able to play some great games, still Battlefield 5 over 60 FPS, probably 100 FPS on 1080p ultra settings. So this is a pretty good build. Alright, so I do have one more build for you, and this one's going to fit in a $1,000 budget. And for this one, I'm starting off with a case from Amazon for $50. It's the Thermaltake Versa H18 Micro ATX case. It does have a very nice mesh front, which will support a 240mm radiator and a fan in the back. It does have fan support at the top as well. And you can see here they do have a radiator in this image right here. So I do know that it does support the radiator. Then for the Micro ATX case, you have to have a Micro ATX motherboard, and I went with the MSI B450M. And for $1,000, I am going to want to do some overclocking with this, so I did go with that. And as you can see, it does have a very nice heatsink on there, so we should be able to do some decent overclocking with our CPU. And speaking of the CPU, we're going to come over to our Micro Center cart, where I have the Ryzen 7 1700X, 8 cores and 12 threads. This thing is going to tear through games. It's going to dominate. And it comes in at only $150 right now, but it does not come with a cooler. So I went to Newegg and I found us a nice cooler. I went with the Deepcool GamerStorm Captain 240EX RGB-AIO. Gotta have RGB nowadays. And now this one comes in at $77.82, and I've never used this AIO before, but it is recommended by Steve from Gamers Nexus, and if he recommends it, you know that it's good. And I've always just wanted to try something like this. I've never used Deepcool, so I'm pretty interested in checking how this AIO works. Now, I also picked up some RAM on Amazon. Corsair Vengeance LPX 16GB kit. 2 8GB sticks come in the kit. It's 2400 speed. I did check the QVL on the motherboard's support site, the Summit Ridge QVL, and that stick does come in as their supported RAM. So, and one thing you should know is I'm finding that Amazon has some of the best prices on RAM. As you can see, I've did a lot of research going through Newegg, Micro Center, and Amazon bar none, has some of the best RAM prices. But Amazon doesn't usually have good prices on computers, but if you're looking for RAM, go Amazon. Alright, so after that, do have for our boot drive, Micro Center brand Inland Basic, 128GB M.2. Our motherboard, the MSI B450, does support M.2, and this M.2 only comes in at $30, so this is going to be a great boot drive for you. You might even be able to get some games on there as well. And then last thing from Micro Center while we're here is a 650 watt power supply. It only comes in at $50, and it is semi-modular. It's the power spec 650 watt, and it's 80 plus bronze. I've used this power supply in the past, and it is great. So this is a great power supply for when you're on a budget. Alright, and then we're going to wrap things up with Newegg, where I did have a storage drive for games, and it's a 2 terabyte 7200 RPM 3.5-inch hard drive. Great for keeping your games on there. I also use this in my personal computer. So all in all, this computer comes in around $966, just under $1,000. You can, if you do have a full $1,000 budget, you can add some more fans. Maybe get a better motherboard to add some more overclocking support, maybe get a better case. But I think for under $1,000, this is going to be a great computer, especially with that Ryzen 7 1700X, 8 cores, 16 threads. You know you're going to be dominating games. And with that RTX 2060, you could probably throw on some ray tracing, get over 60 frames a second with the ray tracing on. It's going to be a great computer. Alright, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this build guide. If you like this video, you know what to do. And then please subscribe so that way you can get all of our updates. We're going to be uploading videos weekly. And then Sean, which you've seen in our first video, I'll leave a link in the description below to that video. And Sean is actually going to be getting one of those RTX 2060s, and we're going to do a build with that, and maybe even a review or two, and get some best case thermals, everything. So if you want to see that, definitely subscribe, hit that bell, and we'll see you in the next video.